Hi, I'm Dr. Phil. Today we're going to discuss modern times. Adam Smith, what's wrong with the little tramp, and what's the cause of the illness?
Little Tramp got a mental illness from his work because of such things like nervous breakdown, pressure, and depression. This gave him a mental illness, and he put the factory into chaos. That's why he was sent to the hospital and ended up somehow in the jail.
So, what would happen for the little tramp to return to society as a healthy, fully functioned human being?
After got out of jail, he ran into a girl. She was put in a similar situation with him. She was poor, didn't have money for food. However, eventually she found a job. She was a good dancer, so she could get a job as a dancer. But little Tramp could get a job, but he's not good at, so he got fired every time. And I think every person has their own special skills. I mean, everyone is good at something. So everybody needs to do what they can do better to improve efficiency. I think equality is from financial activities. This value is what we get from what we do financial activities. This is not something we born with it. We need to earn this by participating in economic activities. Little Tramp had a job, but he was kept on and off and on and off. That's why he couldn't get equality. So Little Tramp needs to find what he is good at to make living. If he's not going to involve in financial activities, he cannot get and do what he wants, then he will be part of a society as a fully functioning human being. That's it.
Thompson, what is wrong with the little tramp?
So the little tramp's illness is about two aspects. So one is that he become crazy to destroy the regulation of the factory and the factory's equipment. His mind is full of using hand to process the iron ore during the time of work, so that he wants to twist everything circle one he saw in the factory, and because he cannot figure out the difference between the work and the life, and which he call it mature industry society. Another illness that he wants to go to the jail instead of living in the real life, so that he want try his best to break the law, like to lie that he is the one who steal the bread to the policeman, and he also wanted to buy food without pay anything.
What's the cause of little tramp's illness?
So at first you really need to know that at that time means everything. So which means time equal to money. In this like modern times, the owner of the factory wanted to control the factory so that he can make as much profit as he can by squeezing the workers' body to work for him. So this what he did really make the little tramp to be crazy. Another thing is that at that time you should know the nature of human is very easy to be changed. So by different reasons, little tramp is treated well in the jails, like the jail is like home to him. So in this case, because a huge lag between the real life and the jail, make him change his mind, because in the general people think the jail should be like bad, but for him he's not.
So, what should happen for the little tramp to return to society as a healthy, fully functioning human being?
So in practically, I will recommend the government to set some new rules to protect these laborers. such as they can limit the time for these workers, or they can set a way for these workers to complain their boss. So the government can know. Which the owner is bad for these peoples, so this boss can be kicked out from the market.
What's wrong with the little tramp?
As someone who took part in writing the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, I sincerely believe that the little tramp ended up in the situation that he was in, mostly because he had little to no freedom to express himself, and he had very limited right to petition against, the atrocious, horrible working environment that he was in. And honestly, had it been anyone, they would have been insane.
What's the cause of the little tramp's illness?
Like I said before, he had little to no right to express whatever he wanted to. Obviously, he did not enjoy the time that he would have to spend at the factory he worked at. And for someone who's, as outgoing and as, funny as he is, to be, stuck at such a place that's absolutely terrible and, limit his fundamental rights to almost the bare bone. He was probably suffocated into this mental illness that he ended up with, and it was very unfortunate for him.
So what would happen for the little tramp to return to society as a healthy, fully functioning human being?
I think we should definitely have a law that outlines the rights of a worker and, the fundamental rights that he gets as a human being and a citizen. The fact that he needs to be treated equally, has a certain degree of freedom of speech against the employer, and we also need definitely a law that guarantees every worker the right to work in a place that keeps them mentally healthy and physically healthy as well.
Marx, so what's wrong with the little tramp and what caused these problems?
Little tramp had illness due to the pressure from the modern industrial society. He didn't follow the rules of the modern capitalist world. The little tramp is facing the desperate employment and fiscal conditions many people faced during the Great Depression, condition created by the efficiencies of modern industrialization. The little tramp is a factory worker employed on an assembly line. There he is subjected to such indignities as being force-fed by a modern feeding machine in an accelerating assembly line, where he screws nuts at an ever-increasing rate onto pieces of machinery. Another reason of the little tramp's illness is the pressures from owner of the factory. The workers should have freedom and rights to be able working in good conditions. He finally suffers a nervous breakdown, throwing the factory into chaos. I listed all the reasons above. The little tramp struggles through the crude capitalism, the cause of it, of being trapped in the factory and are not being able to start the new and better life. He was being stuck in streets, dying from hunger and social pressure.
So, Marx, what do you think will bring the little tramp to the normal life?
The little tramp has a lack of job options. He cannot find a better work for himself. He only stays distracted by the obstacles that he's facing. Only through getting rid of the capitalist people, the owners of factory, the little tramp can return to society as a healthy, fully functioning human being capable of exercising the most fundamental qualities of a human being. As the representative of proletariat, I can definitely tell that if there were no bourgeoisie in our society, the workers will be relieved and employment would be lower. Politically, there should be shift from capitalism to the communism in order to provide freedom and rights for the little tramp.
All right, thank you.